Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Donnelly, and I'm with Barrier-Free Contractors. This is the Accessible Barrier-Free Homes channel, and I combine it with the Accessing My Home podcast. We're speaking today with Israel Santiago of the famous 101 Mobility of Sarasota deal. Israel and Chuck Vollmer, the owner, and Israel is as close to an owner as you can get, put everything together to help those with mobility challenges, mainly with lifts, elevators, things of that nature. I work with them in on the contracting side of stuff in terms of putting certain things together to get him to where he's going to bring his expertise to the table. Israel, thanks for doing this with us today, bud.
My pleasure.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about ceiling lifts, ceiling hoists, what you got to do to get a person out of the bed to get them to where they need to be.
Okay. With ceiling lifts, it all depends on what the actual goal is. So on a ceiling lift, the idea is maybe you're in your bed and you want to get to a certain point. We go as drastic as just moving inside of the room from the bed, maybe to a piece of mobility equipment or to another chair or to a changing table or something to that nature, or as vast as moving through the house, through different corridors and finding their way maybe into a bathroom, into the shower, 180-degree turn to go off and start a different avenue through a house. It is the easiest way for a caregiver, a mother, a wife, a husband, anyone to care for a person and not throw their back out.
I was
Because
just going to, I wanted to stop you there because I've seen this on so many occasions where there's a child and the child is no longer 50 pounds. A child now is 150 pounds. And all of a sudden, what used to be able to be easy for the caregiver, mom or dad or whatever, is no longer.
fact, that is a fact. Yeah, no, truly.
All right. So a job that we did with you recently took a no longer child. I think he's in his early 20s,
Right.
and he's a lot. And mom is actually a nurse, but she's the caregiver for the boy, man. So we had to put together a system that was open up the bathroom and have you put the lift together to take him into that bathroom. Explain that one a little bit for us.
Okay. On the instance he's speaking of, we evaluated the home. They actually came from a home in Missouri where they had a similar system already put into place. Theirs was a manual, meaning it rolled by way of them pushing him. On top of that, it was a portable unit, so they could take the unit down and then charge it off to the side of the bed or something to that nature. That in and of itself turns into a task. So the transition for them was to make it fully powered, for it to be a fixed unit, and then for it to travel inside of the same room where Mike built a door and a doorway and went basically through the wall into the shower. It was absolute genius. It came out gorgeous. Mike did a wonderful job as far as all of his construction and preparatory work, so that when I walked in there, it was pretty much shoe in. What we do on a lift like that is we start off with a 90 and we set up our pickup points. So it's a laser projection. We set up the pickup point. The pickup point is the center of the bed, probably 42 inches off the wall, right? Because that's where we're going to lift the client up first. Now, the transition out of that is where is the next drop off or pickup point. It's going to be off to the side of the bed where we put them down on their chair. The next thing from there is going to be into the shower. So now after the 90, you're going to travel straight, in the instance we're speaking of, 12 feet going into the shower. And basically what you do from there is you drop them down in a shower chair or something to that nature, but actually physically in the shower so that they can be clean with a hygienic sling. It's allowed to get wet. They just take it, they throw it in the shower or they throw it in the wash from there.
You know,
Now,
it was really interesting about that was that when you put your lift together, okay, and I think the ceilings were 9 feet, yeah, I believe, okay.
yes,
So we built the door on we actually put a full door in, and we cut out a header, and that allowed and the header literally was even with the ceiling going into the bathroom. And what was really cool is that it was like an 8-inch opening, and you were able to put your lift system that passed right through this doorway with this header. I enjoyed the hell out of that. It was pretty cool.
no, it came out gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And your measurements were spot on. When we lined it up, and mind you, we're using lasers, using the snap. We're doing all of that to kind of get a cross grid on where it's going to land. Um, when we're fixating it, we're drilling through the ceiling and going in and attaching the 3 joists on the top. So we're going and we're spanning over 3 joists. So the pull point on each one of them has to span about 700 pounds. So at the end of this, we're taking the lift, and on the cart, we're lifting 700 pounds and yanking down at each one of those positions. So once it's actually in place, we know it'll handle any weight that's going to happen. And then any strain, say a fall, through operating it, you trip and your weight pulls down, it's not coming through. It is over 3 joists on top of it, and then it sandwiches the ceiling. So it's able to handle every bit of every weight.
It's awesome. You know, the people are extremely happy. And well, I mean, isn't that what this is all about? Doing the
Truly.
job properly right across the board. Well, folks, I got to tell you, you haven't seen it, but I did put a video out about it, and I'm going to put another one out. But the idea, when you hear how Israel explains this, it really gives you a perspective on. It's a little complex. I mean, there's no question it's complex. You got a lot to learn when it comes to doing this. And how long did it take you to learn that?
So that portion actually took me about a year.
Did it?
But I've been in kind of the engineering side of Case New Holland for years. So I understand weight tolerances, and elevator installs actually help with that idea as well. You know, pull points and the necessary part of aligning things.
Awesome. Okay, guys, you heard it again. The man knows his stuff, and I tell you, one-on-one mobility out of Sarasota. That's your answer. Get a hold of these guys, and they're going to do you a hell of a job. Israel, thanks a lot for doing this today. And I got to tell you, anybody that's listening to this, please, because you've got some great knowledge, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I think you're going to love it. We have lots of videos out there with people like Israel, and specifically Israel in this case. Thanks, bud.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's see.
I think it's still recording.
I think I screwed up. Okay, it's all right. All right. Well,